African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. It's exactly 25. Is it 25? No, 29. 29 minutes past 12. Time for us to move down south, precisely to Cape Town, where our man Solomon Atah has been on standby. Solomon, welcome to African Cocktail, the 58th episode.
Thank you, Ernest. Welcome to you and your listeners to Johannesburg, which is the economic nerve center of South Africa. It's also known here as the city of gold. The sun has just gone down and it's just under the horizon. Ernest, today we're going to be talking about the what I call my five sleeping giants of African economy, focusing more specifically on the sub-Saharan continent. We go straight away into it. At number 5, we have Cameroon. Cameroon has a population of 21.7 million people. Cameroon makes it into the base based on its strategic position along the borders of mighty giant Nigeria. It's also the headquarters of the central banks which is with a single monetary unit, the CFA, which is shared by all 6 countries in the sub-region.
Right.
Seen by many as a beacon of peace in what can be seen in the region, we share a fair share of a conflict, especially the volatile situation in the CAR. Cameroon has seen some economic growth in the past 24 months. The economy weighted on export of timber, banana, cocoa, etc. A vibrant stock exchange could add tremendous value, says analysts, to the financial markets. It is the center of the sub-region with a combined population of more than 80 million people. So, unless if you add that to the 170 million people in Nigeria, you can now do the math. And a single currency and the customs union aligned for ease of flow of people and goods. In some cases, you don't need a passport to get to most of the 6 countries in the sub-region. With this, Cameroon is aiming to be a key player in the sub-region. And last year, Cameroon's economy grew to an all-time high of 8.80%. This is according to Africa Economic Outlook. At number 4, we have Angola. Angola had a population of 22.4 million people. This country has been on the map of interest in protracted while since it gained some stability, unless the incident involving Togolese players in 2010 during the AFCON tournament. Angola can be referred to easily as a sleeping giant. Oil still dominates the economy, Ernest. In recent years, construction has boomed and property in Angola can be valued in millions of dollars. It's a country that most up-and-coming business people in Africa want a piece of. This is a show for that economy and a force to be reckoned with. At number 3, we have Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a landlocked country. The country has now emerged from years of protracted famine and poverty. Today, the country is emerging as a new frontier of sorts in Africa with a population of 95.5 million people and a very good higher education rate. This country, and the only country never to be colonized, is becoming an attractive destination for investment in the continent. And some analysts are actually saying that no one seems to be paying attention to Ethiopia, that it would just sort of stick its head out like a horse race. We move eastwards, East Africa to Tanzania. You will remember that when the new Chinese president visited Africa for the first time, Tanzania was the first stop. And this is also the country famed with one of pioneers of African unity, Julius Nyerere, and famed for his stability in the federal system of government, indicated chosen by China as his first stop during the first visit to Africa. Last year, Tanzania, as a giant in the East African region, experienced a relative 6.4% growth in 2012. This figure shows strengthening in this economy. Infrastructure development is meant to lift any from poverty, thus increasing the size of the middle class, which in turn fuels their needs for services. The energy and resource sectors has also been a huge contributing factor to that economy. And Tanzania, to me, makes it to the top giant countries to watch, and it's a very attractive investment as it lures in some of the people that go to Kenya for investment, and they just want to go to Tanzania in terms of its touristic potential as well. We should bear in mind that Mount Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania, the northern part of the country, in Arusha. And as this leads up to the giant of Africa. After the rebasing of the Nigerian economy in April this year, Nigeria overtook South Africa as the largest economy in Africa with a 17 million middle-class population according to KNPG Nigeria. The Nigerian economy is on the rise. This is becoming one of Africa's most attractive markets in terms of its size alone. There has also been a noticeable trend of returnees from the diaspora. This is very, very important to someone like the former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan, that has been pleading for all Africans to return home, as it were, in order to contribute to Africa's economy. So expansion in various sectors, beside the oil sector, which still is the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, energy in terms of electricity development, entertainment, which is one of the very, very contributing factors that saw the Nigerian economy overtaking South Africa, have become a huge contributor and drivers of the economy. Although the infrastructure is still a main setback, which is why Nigeria did not make the top 10 ease of doing business in Africa. But Ernest, I'm sure you will see that with a 17 million middle class, the demand for services will obviously increase, and the modernizing of that economy would go on. So Ernest, there you have it. Those are my top 5 giants of Africa to watch in terms of attractive destinations, especially if you are an investor that you're looking for a destination where it's not yet it's not on everyone else's radar, as it were. So you can go there and open up big markets. But make no mistake, these are no new destinations, but they are some of the destinations that don't get spoken about generally. And let me conclude today with some markets. The currencies here. Currencies, the rand is trading now at $1 will buy you 10 rand and 52 cents. 1 euro will buy you 14 rand and 16 cents. 1 pound sterling, that is the Great British pound sterling, will buy you 17.92 rands. And gold is trading $1,305.75 an ounce. Platinum is at 1,482 cents and 50 cents. 50 cents an ounce, and oil is 107.99 per barrel. And then the JC closing today, Ernest, at 46,743.73. Ernest, there you have it. This is Solomon Atah.
Solomon, you're not going away yet, Solomon? Hello, Solomon? Hello, Solomon? Yes, Solomon, I have 2 quick questions for you, especially on Nigeria. The first question is, we understand that energy has always been the biggest challenge facing Nigeria's economy. And now that Nigeria has risen to the first spot, are we saying that that problem is solved?
Nigeria has been able to grapple with quite a few, especially the energy issues in terms of electricity generation and supply and distribution and so on. But over the years, there has been considerable investment and interest in terms of that particular sector, because they have been able to understand, as some analysts put it, that they need to sort out, as it were, the energy supply of the country in order to move the economy, to modernize the economy, and to be able to make its attractiveness index a little bit more higher and favorable to other investors.
Right.
So the problem still persists in terms of the lack or the not enough electricity supply. But I'm sure that, as the analysts have put it, that the work that is going on now would push Nigeria out of this sort of a dark area where there's a shortage of electricity into when it becomes a very an emerging economy that is more structured and the supply of electricity is more constant.
The second quick question, Solomon. We understand Nigeria has a natural strength. I'm talking about its population. How come South Africa for quite a long time was leading in terms of economic growth? So why was South Africa occupying the first spot for so long when we understand that Nigeria has the biggest market?
And you will have to bear in mind that the South African economy is very, in terms of the South African economy on the continent, is a very middle-tier economy. And also the has a very developed infrastructure, developed ease of doing business, and its attractiveness in terms of the way that it attracts investors and the way that its economic base was prior to 1994 sort of allowed South Africa to position itself and became a very attractive destination. And I have to also indicate that the South African government has been very, very cognizant of the fact in terms of marketing the South African brand abroad. As a matter of fact, there are 5 agencies, national agencies, independent agencies, whose job and whose mandate is to market the country abroad. And also owing to the fact that they had a developed infrastructure, they had a middle-tier economy, they are more an emerging, way beyond emerging economy, and also brand Nelson Mandela. All of that combined in the way that the country had positioned itself immediately after 1994 contributed in so many ways to allow the economy to be able to attract the highest number of FDI to the country than any other country in the continent. So those various elements and a whole lot of other indicators sort of put South Africa, especially as well, its ease of doing business. Its ease of doing business is judicial system, the democratic process in itself is also a very contributing, if not a very major contributing factor in terms of how it contributes to attracting investment. So, and more investment into the country means more jobs are created, more investment into the economy, more wages are paid out, and more people are lifted out of poverty. So that sort of put South Africa in a more advanced, as it were, position more than Nigeria.
Solomon, last question, just before you leave us. You happen to be a Cameroonian, and you master the Cameroonian economic landscape so well. And you just made mention of the fact that Cameroon is one of the places which investors should be thinking of going to. And if they think to go to Cameroon, in which sector would they succeed if they invest?
Well, look, when I spoke to some, in fact, like a month or so ago, I spoke to some people, some economic activists, or sort of, as for lack of a better word. They look at Cameroon as a virgin market. That is why it made it into my top 5 and sleeping giants. The fact is that Cameroon is it's the headquarters of the BRICS Bank, which is the single monetary unit for the 6 countries in the sub-region. And the Cameroon has a custom union with all the 6 countries. They also have access to borders with no passport or no visas needed. So this opens up, and also people that are a bit weary of going to Nigeria.
Wow. Okay, Solomon, thank you.
So Cameroon is very well positioned to attract investment in tourism, in retail, and in several other sectors such as construction and infrastructure development.
Solomon, thank you so much for that very brilliant economic package from Johannesburg. Thank you so much, and we hope to have you again next week. Same show, same time, same station. Okay, his name is Solomon Atah. He is our man in Johannesburg. Solomon shuttles between Johannesburg and South Africa. Today he is in Cape Town. Tomorrow he is in Johannesburg just for African Cocktail. Solomon, thank you so much. You are the best. Okay, this is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio.